Welcome back to the show. It's coming to you from our broadcast centre in Kuala Lumpur, and we're looking at the political uncertainties in Malaysia as Prime Minister Abdullah Ahmed Badawi prepares to step down next March. Joining us is the man who's lined up to replace him, the current Deputy Prime Minister Najib Razak. We'll get back to our questions here now. Dr. Seri, another email here from Malaysia, and Rocky wrote in saying, do you think people will respect you as Prime Minister with the scandals hanging over you? Now, are you going to be able to put those allegations behind?
I've come up very openly, very cleanly. First of all, they're totally unfounded, baseless allegations. I've never met the woman in question, and so far no evidence has been produced to say otherwise. So therefore, I have no qualms, I have no baggage. The only baggage I have is the baggage that I check into the aircraft.
Well, irrespective of the, obviously of the actual circumstances, perception is a huge issue. And when you're trying to build confidence in a country where there are divides, can you get past that, all the scandals?
Yes, I'm confident that I can do that.
Okay. So another email question, if I may, from Bulbir Singh in Seramban here in Malaysia, who says, do you see Opposition Chief Anwar Ibrahim's threat to demolish the Barisan government as real?
We have to take, the election results, the last election results, very seriously. It is obvious that if we do not meet the needs, concerns and aspirations of the electorate, i.e. if we do not change and if we do not reform, then it is quite possible that the electorate will decide that it's time to end the Barisan national rule in this country. It is something that we have to be very mindful of, that there is a new Malaysia out there, and we have to address that new Malaysia.
On that issue of the Barisan national rule and holding the parties together, we touched on the ISA, the Internal Security Act. Three key components of that ruling coalition: the Malaysian Chinese Association, the Progressive People's Party, Gerakan People's Movement. They've all said that if it's not repealed or not reformed, they'll leave the coalition. Can you risk such a fracture?
As I said, these things that we can discuss as a coalition, and we've resolved many issues, and I'm confident that there are issues relating to the ISA and so forth. We can discuss and we can take the best course of action forward. We are mindful of the fact that any kind of legislation or any kind of law to be implemented in this country must be predicated on a strong support from the people.
There's an interesting question that came in here from Malaysia, from one of the viewers who wrote on the subject of the cost of living. Kavita Katerveo of Kuala Lumpur wrote in saying, people are struggling to buy basic needs. I'm amazed by the fuel price reduction with no corresponding decrease in the cost of daily goods. Why was the fuel price so suddenly decreased? Is it a political game to silence the opposition?
No, it's not. It is a promise that we made to the people, that when the price of world price of oil goes down, then we will reflect that correspondingly in the price of petrol and diesel in this country, and we've done exactly that. Now, we are also equally disappointed that the prices of other goods have not gone down as much as we would like to, but there are efforts being taken. For example, we have talked to the hypermarkets, the Tesco's, the Giants, the Midins in this country, and they have responded very positively. One particular hypermarket reduced more than 1,000 products and goods in terms of prices to the people. So efforts are being made in that direction.
Now, in the USA, where I'm based, the parties can live and die based on how the economy is going. So, in terms of how you feel Malaysia can survive the current situation, will people's votes, will your position be affected very much by how the economy develops here?
I believe the economy will be the main issue, and that is why we have to address the economy. We are fortunate that the Malaysian economy is stronger and more resilient today than, say, 10 years ago when we faced the Asian financial crisis.
I know you have adjusted your predictions for the growth, I think, down to about 3.5% from 5.3 or something. In terms of, is that a realistic situation considering the global economic downturn? Can you be fairly resilient to that?
Well, for this year, we've predicted we will get 5% growth, and we are on course to get that 5%. We might even get slightly higher than 5% for this year. Next year, we've targeted 3.5%. That 3.5% is predicated on two things. One, that the fiscal incentive or fiscal stimulus package, which I announced early in November, that package is implemented speedily, then that will add to the growth for next year. And secondly, there'll be no serious downturn in external global markets beyond what we predict. But if things change, then we will revise our growth rates accordingly. There is no harm in doing that. Singapore has revised its growth rates 4 times.
What are the signs for you? I mean, a lot of people made predictions. No one predicted quite how much things would go down.
Yes, we must be prudent. We must prepare for the worst. We must consider this as a crisis, and it's a kind of a state that you have to put your mind into managing a crisis, and you must be able to respond accordingly, and you must be very prudent in whatever you do.
How do you see Malaysia positioning itself regionally? I mean, if it is fairly resilient economically, if it is looking to reform and be the new Malaysia, how do you see it in terms of its neighbours positioning itself within the regional economic and sort of political pacts that take place?
I think we are in a very good position in strategic terms, because where we are located, we are actually a gateway to China, if you like. We also have strong links with India and the Middle East, and we're also part of ASEAN. So Malaysia is uniquely placed. Plus, of course, the Malay archipelago, which means that we have this unique position of being able to leverage on our links with the various centers in this part of the world.
Of course, people look for strength, political strength. An email that came in touched on the reform of the government that we've touched on a bit already, but this one came in from Nasser Al-Kalantani here in Kota Baru in Malaysia. He says, bribery in the UMNO party election campaign is said to be rampant. What is your plan to combat the plague, and what are your plans to restore the declining confidence in the BN coalition government and particularly UMNO?
We have to combat money politics in UMNO. It's become a main issue. We've given full mandate to the committee. There is a special disciplinary committee which is looking into this, and they're gathering facts, and hopefully some action will be taken against those involved in money politics. Actions have already been taken, but I think people expect more to be done, more actions to be taken.
Enough to build confidence, as the viewer is asking? Well,
I hope so, but it is a journey, it's a process which cannot happen overnight. But there must be that strong push and political will to eradicate money politics.
Okay. A thought here, Malaysia is often put up as an example of how a secular and modern Islam can be practiced. What do you think it is about Malaysian society that justifies this kind of view?
Well, you just look around, what do you see? You see Islam in this country being applied in a way that we are true to the fundamental teachings of Islam, but at the same time Islam that is consonant with progress, with technology, and with tolerance with the other religions in this country. So I think we are a good face of Islam to the world.
A lot of people feel that in other Islamic countries that it's often the economic situation, a downturn, perhaps political ideology changing, that can lead to the conversion of especially young people into extremism. Is that in any way a threat you've had to face here?
It's not a serious threat, but we have to be vigilant about it. There could be a few individuals who will try to interpret Islam in an extreme and myopic way, and could mislead some of the young people. Some of them have been taken in as a result. But generally speaking, people are very moderate in the way they see Islam being applied in this country.
I was wondering if you'd seen any examples of, as you say, where you've had to deal with the issue.
Oh, yes. We had this group a few years ago, very extremist group, and they stole arms from one of the army camps. And the guru had a following amongst young people like engineers and technocrats and so forth.
Well, Datu Seri, Najib Razak, thank you very much for being with us, sir. It was good to have you on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for being with us. On the next show, a look at Thailand's growing crisis. Anti-government protesters are clashing with the police while tens of thousands of tourists remain trapped in between. And on Wednesday, we'll be looking at the issue of censorship in Malaysia with Raja Petro, who was jailed here under a controversial law. He'll be joining us on the show. And on Thursday, we'll speak with the man credited with shaping modern-day Malaysia, the former Prime Minister, Dr. Mahathir Mohamad. Send your questions and comments to riz@aljazeera.net. But that's it from me and the team in Kuala Lumpur and in Washington, D.C. We'll see you next time.